Okay, it is 1 minute after 9 o'clock. We'll call the Floyd County Board of Supervisors regular meeting to order. First item on our agenda is to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Item 2, public comment. I don't see anybody in the room, so we'll move on past that. Item 3, review action regarding approval of June 26th, 27th, and July 3rd, 2017 meeting minutes.
Linda, it's corrected.
I see that, yeah. There was just one change, and I had mentioned it to Gloria, and that was that it was Supervisor Cam and myself doing the cash count. And she had that it was,
Cam and Kuma.
right. So I see that you've made those
Actually, I
changes.
saw another one that got corrected too, and that's nowhere, it's corrected then.
Okay, so I'll move to.
I made a motion to adjourn the meeting, I wasn't at.
Right. I mean, that one was fixed the day after I thought about it, yeah. Those,
You were thinking that though, right? Really?
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 26th, 27th, and July 3rd.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June 26th, 27th, and July 3rd meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 4, review action regarding approval of claims. We have our claims and we have some handwritten also.
Yeah. The one I did have a question
On a handwritten or?
on a handwritten, and it was the one for emergency management. And it was for, it's a rather large amount.
For the drone?
And again, I just wanted clarification on it. Let me find. Hold on, because I'm sure Gloria will have the answer for it.
was it the,
It was.
Visa?
It's not in these handwritten.
was it the Visa one, Linda? With,
Must be in the
There was
regular.
one for $50,000.
oh, for emergency management?
That's
That's the
emergency.
transfer.
That's the transfer,
Yeah,
okay.
so a motion was made at the previous meeting.
Okay.
to Transfer.
And I knew about the solutions one, so I was just looking at those larger amounts. Okay. All right, so with that, I'll
No,
go.
you did ask about the drone, and there was another claim with the drone. For the
Right.
Visa, there was an iPad that was purchased on the Visa card, so, and then, so I don't, you talked about the,
Yeah, I did some follow-up on, since I know a lot of that happened while I was gone, and attended the meeting, via phone that one day and trying to listen to everything that was going on when Leslie was in the room. And my only concern, I guess, was we need to make sure that we try to follow, I know, the process. It sounds like they didn't have a meeting, to agree to this from the commission standpoint, but, and that the other thing too, that there is some ongoing money that's associated or expense with that, which is the insurance, and I'm not sure if that was well stated either. I think it's what, $1,200 on an ongoing basis.
that bill hasn't
Good.
come through yet, but so
Okay.
far we've had.
So the iPad, the training, the purchase of the drone.
The two claims you had the other day that she came up and talked to you about, but then the claim in this one is the iPad.
Okay.
It's for it, so you're at over $9,000 so far for that purchase that there was not budgeted for and is not.
Yeah, and like I said, I just wanted to be on record that, what we don't want to do is set a precedence either, with other departments, but anyway, I've seen everything, and I know that they've already been pretty much approved. So I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the claims that has been presented.
I think your comments are accurate, well made to the point. I would second the motion.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve paying the claims as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. Motion carried. We're a long ways from 9:50. We'll move on to item 8, review action regarding the liquor license application for Back Pocket Brewing.
This is the one we'd had the special meeting for last Monday to approve, this is the follow-up to that one, to approve the Floyd County Fair Society's license that needed to be corrected from how they filed their entity with the Alcoholic Beverage Division. And,
And obviously, they've got that done now.
well, they have that done, but, I mean, we did our part.
right,
And,
yeah.
but then they have to go in and do a premise update application to give up their license. And yesterday I looked things up and they still have not been assigned a liquor license number. So Matt Ross isn't able to go in and do that premise update application. So I did a conference call with Matt and the ABD office, and they're going to, I don't know what's happened on the ABD side, but they're gonna follow up with that and see what's up. So this, if you're comfortable with approving this pending a premise update application by the Floyd County Fair Society, and then when that happens, assuming that's gonna happen, then I'll approve this one with ABD, rather than wait until
Clock's
the next
ticking on
meeting
this.
is, yeah.
Yeah, this is coming up quickly.
But Back Pocket Brewing, everything we need is there from them. The only thing we're missing is the premise update application for the fair to give up their license so Back Pocket Brewing can have a license.
So the motion should include that as part of it?
Yeah, if you approve it pending
Pending.
the premise update application from the Floyd County Fair Society.
Make that motion. To approve.
And I'll second.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the liquor license application for Back Pocket Brewing pending updates by Floyd County Fair Commission.
Yeah, Floyd County Fair Society, and then that you would approve that. I probably should include also that you approve the premise update application when it comes through. Okay.
With the approval of the premise date application when it comes to. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. Motion carried. Well, we still got 5 minutes. We'll go to item 9, which is review action regarding the audit services, the request for proposals. We have the proposal here from Gardner Thompson, was the only bid we received.
Right, we did
There's a
receive 2
couple-
letters. We received a letter from the state saying that they just don't have the staff to pick up another company, or another county to audit. And then also from Home Logging's office, they sent a letter saying that they do not have the staff to do this kind of audit. The letter, the request for information was published in the newspaper and was also sent out letters to all CPAs in Floyd County. So that was like 6 firms, I believe, that received.
and this is the only one that we've heard from.
This is the only one that we, well, the 3 we've heard from, but only one with an RFP.
That actually responded.
Look, 2 times, NICOG, Larry Pump has been the auditor over there for quite some time, and he declined it last year, but weren't able to find another one, so he's going to do it for 1 more year. And at the landfill, we went through the same exact thing, had lots of letters declining. Gardner is going to take that landfill audit this year, but these government audits are getting harder and harder to find. The only other thing to note is that Elizabeth is now a partner.
She's been a partner.
That was just listed the date just recently.
Yeah, earlier this year.
Yeah.
Or last
Yep.
year. But Frank and Doug and I went through the scoring process over the phone, and Frank and I did the scoring process as well. We didn't, the three of us, since we only had the one application,
Right.
we didn't have a formal meeting, but we
Right.
conferred over the phone. And of course, Gardner meets all the qualifications of the scoring process. So
Does
it'd be
Gardner-
our recommendation to approve this contract.
Have they done this before for the county?
Mm.
Gardner
Yeah.
has done it for, Mark, probably when you were here the first
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
They've been the audit
Okay.
firm
Okay.
for.
Very long time.
10 years, 15
And they've
years?
had,
Oh,
oh,
no.
and there's never been a
Yeah.
problem or an issue?
It's only one I can
Okay.
recall.
Well, with that then, I guess with your recommendation, I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve Gardner's response to our RFI.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposal for audit services from Gardner Thompson PC. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Well, we have 2 minutes to wait for our budget amendment.
You wanna sign things?
Hmm?
You wanna sign things?
Well, we can sign claim.
Here's that. Here, Doug, if you could sign those, those are the contracts for the audit.
Okay.
Together. Okay, I have 9:15 by cell phone clock, which is official for everybody. The clock will declare that the public hearing for the fiscal year 18 county budget amendment open. Any written, oral,
I received no comments, written or oral, regarding the budget amendment prior to today.
comment?
No comments.
Okay,
I did receive one comment in the most unusual fashion. I was in Mason City and I ran into Chris Diggins, who is from Nyakog and our administrator of the course of the Upper Cedar Watershed Management grant that we received for our Beaver Creek project. And we were talking about, it's highly unusual that the county would be amending its budget
this early in the
I
year.
know, there's so many
11th of
days.
July, and he explained, of course, why that was, and perhaps, Lori, if you can
Sure.
mention why this is, it's important to know.
Sure.
You-
Yeah, and we talked about it before, but with the Beaver Creek Watershed Project, they the services were all done. When we received the last bill from SEH, I have it here if you'd like to see it. It showed that the amount due was $44,000, and so that was paid. And then in this little paragraph down here, it says, the contractor has satisfactorily completed all work. After 30 days, providing no claims have been filed, the retainage of $35,101.94 should be paid to the contractor. So that's what the bill looked like, and that little paragraph was overlooked, and everything did get filed for reimbursement from the CDBG funds, but this was an oversight to pay this $35,000 retainage. And this was all in November last year. Chris and I worked on closing out the project in December, and thought everything was taken care of. And then when you all did your budget amendment in May, I like to kind of offset revenues and expenses so that it doesn't look like a huge shock to do budget amendments. So there was $190,000 of unused budgeted dollars in the Beaver Creek Watershed project. And so I netted that to 0, because assuming this project was all completed, and to make the budget amendment for last year look better. And the day after we amended our budget, in May, we received notice that Cole had not received their $35,000 retainage. So had I not done that in
We would be doing
May,
this today.
we wouldn't be doing this today. But to be assured that the revenues did come from CDBG, so we've been sitting on the $35,000 in the general fund, and it's just a formality to be able to pay that out or let an account go negative, and we don't want to go negative. That would be not good for our audit outlook. So that's the primary reason that we're doing this now. And in your claims today, you had the claim for $35,000 for the retainage. So I don't know if you saw that or not. So that is one of the issues in your budget amendment. The other two were talked about as well at the previous workshop meeting. And so with those, it's up to you if you want to approve those items for amendment as well.
Well, good explanation, and my questioning is not to point any finger towards anyone. It was at one point a $65 million project, and our administrator and Gloria worked really hard on this in many ways. As you know, we administer all these funds through here and with the help of NACOG. So just an explanation of how that took place, and certainly it's a program that's been a great success and is going to be used as a model for flood mitigation and water retention, water quality throughout the state of Wyoming.
Okay,
Thank you.
with that, I will declare the hearing closed. So we'll move on to item 6, review action regarding fiscal year 18 county budget amendment.
Resolution, I would move the approval of what's the resolution number?
There's not a resolution for that. That's a next agenda
Oh,
item
okay.
for appropriations.
All right.
But the just approving this.
This, for
Right.
itself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Move to,
And that has those other 2 items, and those,
Right.
we weren't sure if you were going to
Right.
do those or not, those other 2 items. Increase conservation for the pickup and increase $10,000 for the Hummel property. So those are the other 2 items in this amendment.
Okay. Do you want to talk about them separate, or are they going to be separate?
No, if you approve this,
We'll approve the
you
amendment
can-
first.
You can accept the budget as it is, the amendment as it is, or you can reduce if you so choose. So those other 2 items were put in there, you told me to put them in, and then you decide if you were going to reduce or leave them. You couldn't add them you can only reduce what you published for the amendment. You can't add, so they were put in there for your consideration to, whether you wanted to allow those additional amendments or not.
Okay, well, an explanation, the conservation one, there was a $14,000 budgeted for a half of a pickup. And that's, really Adam just didn't understand, that's kind of a throwback from way back when they used to do that and then pay for it partial. So the 14,000 went back into the general fund, and this is just taking it back, and they have 14,000 for another pickup in this year, thinking that's how he's gonna, so this just transfers that 14 from there. The other, what the Board of Health is for the Hummel property, and we've talked about that, thinking of that, thinking we now have the tax thing, so that's what makes up the budget amendment.
Okay, so did you make a motion to?
I will, no, I didn't actually.
Nobody has, yeah.
Correct one, so I'll take another stab at it. I'll
Okay.
approve the budget amendment as published.
Okay, and I'll second that.
Okay, and moved and seconded to approve the budget amendment as published. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. So then we don't do resolution 3317?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
next part,
Okay.
that's the next item.
All right, I move to approve resolution 32-17.
And I'll second that.
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve resolution 32-17, which is budget amendment appropriations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, we're down to item 10, which is discuss, review, action regarding drainage district number 7, which we have all our interested parties in the room, I think.
Yeah,
This is one out by the ethanol plant.
correct.
And Bill, we talked, there's a waterway going up towards the plant,
Yeah, they're in number 7.
number 7. Dusty, you have some background?
Limited background, I guess, as far as that. I mean, over the last several years, I mean, look back in the file, we've had repair work done out east of that, where the house is, across from the ethanol plant. Done some repairs on the mains. If you go north of that house, across the, to the north of there's been some repairs done there over the last several years. I know that in 15, there was some of the ones that was probably the ones where we were doing some exploratory work just east in the waterway of where the crossroad is, south of the house, basically, and that's probably where Bill can explain a little more what his concerns are, because we've gone out there and done some of those exploratory work where some holes are, and then it turns out that they're not drainage district tiles. I mean, they're abandoned tiles or whatever, and they're a foot, deep in the thing, and they're not the mains. So that's where it kind of comes into, if they feel there's a problem, they need to come talk to you guys. The only other thing that I talked to Calvin again this morning a little bit is where that waterway is. Back in 15 too, Schaefer Brothers was out there at the very, let me show you a picture, it'd be easier to show rather than I say where, what the other is. This one right here would be a good one. This is looking north, just like it is. Out here, Calvin had said where that grass waterway goes across, that Schaefer Brothers was out there, of course it was crop in the field at the time in 15, that they kind of tried to do an exploratory work across the waterway and they could not find the 8-inch main that goes up there. So not knowing for sure, because crop in the field and we didn't do anything with it, is that main that comes down that, is it in the waterway, is it to the north? Because they have done some repairs in the stuff over here. So I don't know that it follows that waterway. So from there, again, we're chasing wild goose chases, and I'm not gonna sit here and have my guys go out there and look for something. If they've got a concern, they've gotta bring it to you guys, and you guys gotta decide what you wanna do. And to me, that's, we do the repairs. We have done that over the years, over the 16 and a half years I've been here, plus whatever, on all the other stuff. So, I mean, when there's an obvious hole, But again, if there's nothing there and there's water in the drainage, or a ditch, or a draw, or a grass waterway, I'm not gonna sit here and have my guys go try to find tile that are somewhere or nowhere. I mean, it's just wasting my time, my guys' time. We have enough work in the county to keep going for the whole summer and stuff. And then that's why we said it's for those people that are in that drainage district to come talk to you guys. So I guess he can go from there.
Thanks, Dusty.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
Your name is?
I'm Bill Dolan.
Okay.
I'm the tenant of that farm. Cleo Hebert is the owner
Okay.
of that property. And my family's farmed, my brother farmed it for 40 years. And we were around when that waterway was put in. And since the time that it was put in, obviously the ethanol plant has been built. And my brother, I visited with him this week. He had, I think Mr. Can was also involved. They put an intake on our property side, and it's still there. I'm assuming it's functioning. But did not have any problems with it after there was that intake, whatever, put in. Now, I farmed it for 3 years, and now 3 years I farmed it, it's been wet, and it's wet about 300 yards out into the property, from the road to the property, from that intake. And obviously, there was some exploratory work, as Dusty had mentioned, and we weren't able to find, we found old tile that were very, very shallow, and with heavy equipment, any equipment, those get crushed. So our concern is that waterway is impassable. It's the driveway to the field is on that side. I have to go way around the field to try to pass through the waterway. And there's something that isn't quite right, because we farmed it for 40 years. We could always mow it, harvest the hay on it, and now we got 300 yards of quagmire. I mowed it last week for the first time because I've been waiting for it to hopefully dry, and I was still in water. And so I'm assuming it's a drainage district issue, I hope. We've spent a lot of money the last 2 years, Cleo has, tiling the rest of the farm. And those tiles did not come in there, they went further east. So it's not that those are pressuring that area there. But if anybody would drive by there right now, you'd walk in water. And that, something isn't right, I guess. So I talked with Jim Schaefer this morning before I came, and he's more than happy to go out there and look at it again, because he's been watching it a little bit too, because I mentioned to him we did run some tile close by that when we were finishing tiling that field, and hasn't really solved the issue. So we're thinking that it's something down the line that we need to get somebody with more knowledge, expertise to.
And no tile maps or anything shown?
Well, they do, but they, here, I'll show you the picture.
I guess
Tell me if you-
I have some, but I don't know how good
There,
they are.
there. There's your accurate tile map-ish,
Okay.
sort of.
I remember.
Because there's the north-south,
We got
that's
one for the
highway, there's the
ethanol
8-inch,
plant.
and you got these side
Just-
things there.
Well, you guys, they were doing it, trying to help you guys out, or, trying to keep everybody happy. And I remember all we did was put an intake in there and just went over and we found a tile on the edge of the waterway and hooked it up, but it's like hooking into all old clay tile.
Right.
That's-
And I think it's from the roadway, like his concern is when they're out, the mains that are out, further out, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Further out here, I think, is working. I think your concern more is in this first stretch. Am I saying it right?
Yes. And, according to my records, there's a 7-inch and an 8-inch there. I think we just need to do some work on it and find out why and where, but again, that's drainage district territory, I think, not us.
Well, one of the choices you got is to get an engineer involved, which you're gonna spend $50,000 before you turn a wheel. Or
Or hire Schaefer.
one
to go
possibility,
out.
just hire Schaefer to
Do it
go out
for
there
it,
and
right?
do
I
some
mean, it's
exploratory.
money that's, yeah.
And if we decide that, it's an old tile that needs a whole lot of work, we probably need an estimate and a number.
Because right now, I think that thing is an 8-inch that runs, well, from this map, shows an 8-inch down to, this is a different map, this is different too. I
8,
got-
and then there's a 7 or something.
Yeah.
Our new tile records are much better than these, I guarantee you.
The same ones everybody else has
Yep,
got.
yep.
Well, I know from a fact, after all the work that we had to do this spring for tiling, and nothing is more frustrating
Oh.
than thinking you know where a tile is at,
Well,
and
and-
then it's not there.
And I certainly, I know, understand the burden of the county right now with the issues they've had last fall. So this is nothing that is, you know, we have to get done yesterday, however, it needs to be addressed at some point. So,
Yeah, with the drainage district, we just can't turn you loose and tell you to go do something.
understand, that's why I'm here.
Because you're spending everybody else's money too, but I guess I'd be okay with telling, having Schaefer's, I mean, they're obviously known to us and have done work for us before.
Can we get an estimate?
Tell them to go out
on
and do the
that?
exploratory and bring us a recommendation or a,
Yeah,
Okay,
Fine with me.
I'm fine with that.
awesome.
hmm?
Do you want Bill to just get a hold of Schaefer, because he's been in contact with him?
I can do that.
And then just say, we're looking to try to find that main, that basically comes from the road, obviously across to see, and I don't know if you wanna do per lineal footage, or just an estimate to go out here 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, or whatever it is, where the wet area is, and see if we can do exploratory work at a approximate estimate, and
Find
then
out
maybe,
what the problem
and then
is.
he can give it to you, and you could either get it to my office, which I would bring up to the board, or just you can bring it up to Gloria, and she'll get it to the board.
Does it have a balance in it to even pay a bill?
Probably not much of a balance.
Okay.
But I guess if you get the estimate now, I mean, Schaefer's might be busy too, but at least you have the ball rolling.
He said he would have some time to look at it.
Probably have a motion on what
Right.
the limitations you're putting to, if you're directing him to do it, what limitations do you get him for Schaefer's to explore? Like Dusty said, 100
Maybe-
feet.
I would say have Schaefer do the exploratory work and then come back and tell us what you came up with and then, you know, if they determine that the whole thing needs to be replaced, well then give us a number on what that's gonna cost. So we have to do an assessment to get it paid anyway. So do you wanna put a dollar limit on the exploratory?
Nah, don't worry about them.
Okay.
They'll take care of the job well and do it in a cost-efficient manner for everybody. We all know them.
Yeah.
And they'll, you know, they'll take care of it, and then we'll have a good idea, and we can allocate the proper amount of funds to assess the members of the drainage district.
And as long as you have a map that Schaefer said we tried here, 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 it was good here, yeah, we did find it. Because I think, according to what we've been seeing, I'm almost thinking that thing might be north of that, but we don't know until they dig across. Start at the south end of that Willgrass Waterway and go
When we
north.
did the ethanol thing, it had to have been right there. It wasn't
So
very
start
far.
there, go 100 foot out and then try it, and then go another 200 and then 300, get past the area that is the wet area.
It's growing, it's not getting smaller, so obviously we have some backup.
And then-
Okay.
Probably the only issue is that if it's not a drainage district issue, that it's not the drainage district expense.
Right.
So somehow your motion.
In this
should
case,
have-
probably have to find and locate the main, which would be a drainage district issue, and see that it is
Functioning.
functioning. And then from there, there'd be determination to come if there's something else has to be done.
Well, again, though, that would be what he comes back with, you know, from his assessment on it. All right, so I can make a motion, to go ahead and have Bill contact Schaefer, go ahead and let them do the exploration on it, you know, to figure out what needs to be done, where the issue is. And that information then come back to the board so that we can figure out what it's gonna take, if it truly is a drainage district issue, and what it would cost then to fix the problem.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to have Bill go and contact Schaefer's to do exploratory work in drainage district 7. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hey,
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
good luck.
You bet. Good luck. Item 11, discussion with the county engineer about secondary road activities.
All right?
You're up already.
It's got a short list today.
Hey, we,
Looks like.
Yeah, we do.
Justin gave us a time schedule, we gotta get going.
I really don't have much agenda-wise, I knew that was the biggest thing right there, so. Contract rock going across the county, or time sheet too. Basically, the south half of the county, did we bring a map up for you guys? We usually do that, I forgot.
No.
You gave me one.
I had one, yeah.
Yeah,
I took it.
in our office, I have it all, out at the shop, yeah, basically this whole south is done. They're over here, finished south of B60, finishing up this area, which is Motor District 88, 82 is over here, so we'll be finishing here and going in here, and then we'll be moving probably to other quarries as it kind of progresses here. So we should be about halfway, half the county should be pretty close to being done in this next week here. And then we'll keep moving along, so it's good. I mean, it was pretty dry last week, so I had a couple of calls on dust, and I'm like, you know, we're there for a day hauling by as they're unloading here and coming around. And they're complaining, complaints about that the trucks are speeding, and I'm like, well, speed limit's 55 during the day, so I doubt that a dump truck is going faster than 55 on a gravel road. I think it's just that there was a lot of dust. But we notified the sheriff's office just in case, and we also contacted the contractor, Skyline in this case, and let them know to talk to the drivers. I mean, it's dusty out there, and to be a little more cautious on their driving. Mowing gravels.
I get a question, you mow every gravel?
Yes.
Okay.
Mowing gravels, just one swath though. I mean, we don't go do like they do. We don't go down
Yeah.
into the ditch
Well, I was
bottom.
up by that, I was up by the
And it
orchard.
kind of rotates the mowers around.
I was up by the Orchard Bridge this morning, and that wild parsnip or whatever.
It's
That
everywhere.
stuff.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. But it literally, it closed in on that.
I can't believe how it's.
It's growing right on the
Yeah.
edge, right into it.
So, and then by the time we get done with that, then we'll do something else, and then we'll be far off, we'll be mowing it again or something down the road, but try to get 2 or 3 mows a year depending. Bridge project on 220th, all of the concrete work is complete on that. That one, basically they started moving dirt work on the east-west stretch, both sides. So that'll continue on. I would bet by the end of the month that should be complete, but that's being just me saying that. Can't guarantee in case they decide not to continue on. We got, erosion control and seeding and other dirt stuff and bringing rock in and stuff, so. Paving project, T26 north of Marble Rock, that one, the road is holding up fairly good. I mean, really think we got a good base under there right now until we start moving dirt. It was subbed out to, I can't remember the sub name now, but Coal Excavating technically had all the driveway, taking out all the old culverts, putting in the new. All that work is complete now. It's subject to another backhoe company, MK something. So all the driveway work, basically, at least as far as putting the pipe in the ground and backfilling, is complete. Cole apparently is supposed to be coming in this week sometime to start doing stripping topsoil, do the grade work and such. So we'll see. I know the rain off and on has kind of slowed them up. That's why they had this subcontractor come in and do the driveway work for them. Once that dirt work starts happening, I'm hoping that we start putting modified rock down, grade it to where it has to be. Along that stretch, it was kind of ironic, there was 2 big sinkholes in the road, which we ran into before when we just kind of threw rock in, but they were down at one stretch down there, about halfway down. They were about 15 foot down in the road bed, our guys. I had our guys, let's go out and take care of this, see if we can figure out what it is. They were 15 foot down in the road bed and they hit water, and water just kept coming in, so we basically backfilled with whatever we could and put down fabric and did some more other stuff and backfilled it more, and we're hoping that it holds, but there's a sinkhole-ish out there everywhere. There's a big one there. And just north of there's another one.
We've heard of karst before.
And so, and there was another one north, a little bit further north than that one, and the smaller one, but we're just gonna flowable mortar every foot flowable in the whole thing, and hopefully that kind of holds tight, because it's right in the middle of the roadway, both of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that project will continue. I said, we get the grade work going on, that's where it's gonna be. Like I said, right now, even with the rains, they have little outlets for the water to drain off. It's holding up. I mean, there's a couple spots here and there, but it's like a bad frost boil year, gravel roads. Let's see, 260th Street, east of Balsam Avenue. our tanker cars, that is open. And that was the one we've had closed for quite a few years, and it turned into a day labor project where we threw in for the tanker cars. And that is back open now. So those people should be going east and west on that stretch that complained all those years, and we closed it. We've got some other day labor stuff to continue to work on. With the extra fill material that we've got out of some of those projects, we, shouldered B60 down there in that southwest part, that's basically wrapped up. And design work on 170th, I keep talking about Frankie's Bridge up there on 170th, and all the right-of-way determination, which we had to hire, do it different than we normally done small parcels. This is a major parcel, so we had to go through a whole appraiser system, blah, blah, blah. All that should be wrapped up this week. 170th Street Bridge, Frankie's Bridge, because we're rerouting, redesigning that whole thing was gonna shift to the south, but that's a major purchase. So we worked, that should be happening this week, so we'll be getting that right away. Design work, we're still on board for letting this late this year for north of the ethanol plant in Quarry Road. I think we pushed it back a week just because we were determining stuff by that tin whistle multi-plate there. Making sure that we can fit everything in there.
You have to buy any right away on that one?
Yeah, we're gonna buy a little bit. I think Dwayne's talked to both of them and he knows them both, so we'll get a little bit, just enough to, we're gonna extend that culvert out a little bit so that we can get. Try to
You have to do
eliminate
it on the whole entire.
No,
stretch?
just right there, yeah, because we're gonna lower that whole grade too, just like we done on T26, so that we can widen the shoulders as we lower the road. So that's all the fun stuff. Blading right now, I know with the rain, last week was pretty dry, but this week after we got the rain the other day, they're out, if they're not mowing, a couple mowers we got going, they're out there blading right now. So.
As I mentioned, I was up there by that Orchard Bridge. That thing is starting to show its age, isn't it?
Yes.
That'd be a major one.
Yeah, and that's gonna be one, that's one we talked about getting in the program, because that's gonna be it's a long bridge now,
Right.
and it's gonna be it's a farm to market road, which is good, so that at least
That would help.
they could come out of the farm to market
Right.
as the match, not necessarily, as long as
That
my
is a
BR
long
funding was good too, so. But you're probably talking about $2 million bridge on a gravel road, but that's the way it goes. I don't think I have anything else, you guys, a lot of work order stuff going on, driveway repairs, crossroad culvert repairs. We didn't get a lot of crazy heavy rains here. I did in Chickasaw a couple weeks ago. I've got over by Lawler, it was 5 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches in a half hour. So I had roads wash out again and out there fixing. The inch the other day, I had an inch at my place, and Calvin said like 6/10 west here. I don't know
Yeah,
what else
over
happened
an
the other
inch.
day. A lot of we're fortunate we didn't get like over in Clemmy and Garner, and they got all my friends that live over there. Their fields got wiped out.
Oh my gosh, that is,
So we're fortunate that way. Let's keep it that way.
yeah.
Inch here or there, I don't mind. So, if you guys got anything for me, keep me posted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
are you here for a reason?
I don't have any official business before the board. I'm just here when you guys are done to say hi.
Okay.
All right, so with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay, we are adjourned.